1 spoon of apple cider vinegar. It sounds incredibly simple, doesn't it? Almost too simple to be true. You see it sitting on the shelf in the grocery store, cheap, unassuming, and you probably walk right past it. But what almost no one tells you is that this single spoon, when used the right way, can be a game changer for your sexual life. I'm talking about improving the circulation that reaches the penis, clearing the pathways, and setting the stage for erections that are firmer, faster, and much longer lasting. That's right. Something so affordable, something so often forgotten in the back of the pantry, has a direct, measurable impact on how blood arrives exactly where you need it most. We aren't talking about magic here. We are talking about physiology. This isn't a miracle cure, and I'm not here to sell you snake oil. But apple cider vinegar works because it operates on deep, internal processes that most men ignore until it's too late. It acts on your blood pressure, your glucose levels, your weight, your metabolism, and your satiety. It even impacts the quality of the blood circulating in your veins. Now, you might be wondering, what does my metabolism or my blood sugar have to do with my erection? The answer is everything. Everything is interconnected. When a man understands that his erection is just the tip of the iceberg of his overall health, half of his sexual problems start to resolve. And that is why I need you to understand the real reason to take apple cider vinegar every single day. It's not a fad. It's not an internet invention. And no, it's not for absolutely everyone. We will get to that. But when it is right for you, and when used correctly, the benefits are very real. The science behind this acidic liquid is more powerful than most people imagine. Now that you understand that apple cider vinegar messes with the male body in a good way, I need to explain exactly how to take it, when to use it, and what actually works. Because it is useless to know that it improves circulation, hormones, and performance if you use it the wrong way. And that is where many men sabotage their results without even realizing it. The first point you need to lock in is that apple cider vinegar is not an instant miracle pill. You don't take it and 5 minutes later you're ready to go like you took a blue pill. But it is also not something that takes months to show an effect. Think of it as a daily internal adjustment. It's a silent tune-up. It starts quietly, but within a few days, it begins to shift your digestion, your energy levels, and your sexual response. This is why the timing makes all the difference. The majority of men who see the best results prefer to use it in the morning, in a fasted state. I highly recommend this moment. Why? Because first thing in the morning, your body is more sensitive, more receptive, and ready to absorb whatever you give it. A simple spoon mixed into a glass of warm water acts like a wake-up call for your circulation. It starts to clear out excess sugar lingering in your bloodstream. It reduces that morning bloating in the belly. And most importantly for you, it supports the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the holy grail of erections. It is the molecule responsible for relaxing and opening the blood vessels in the penis. Without it, you cannot get hard. Apple cider vinegar helps optimize the environment for this to happen. Now, while vinegar is a fantastic daily habit to build a foundation, if you are looking to truly supercharge that nitric oxide production and target the biological root cause of ED, what scientists call the boner killer enzyme, there is a more potent, specific solution you need to know about. It's a bizarrely simple, 7-second morning ritual involving a specific, purple hardening tonic. It does what vinegar does, but on a completely different level, restoring rock-hard stiffness much faster. I found a video that explains exactly how this natural tonic works. If you want to fix this problem for good, pause this video right now and point your phone's camera at the QR code appearing on your screen to watch that presentation. I've also pinned a link to that video in the top comment below. Go check it out, it's worth your time. However, I know that not every man has a stomach of steel or enjoys taking something acidic on an empty stomach. And that is perfectly fine. If that's you, the second best time is right before your main meals, especially before lunch. When you use it before eating, it acts as a buffer. It controls the spike of sugar that happens after a heavy meal. It prevents that feeling of a heavy, distended stomach where food feels like it's just sitting there. But critically, it prevents the crash. You know that feeling at 2 o'clock or 3 p.m. where your energy drops off a cliff? That energy crash destroys your libido. It kills your desire. It is impressive how a man who lives his life chronically tired begins to recover vigor simply because he adjusted this one detail. By flattening that glucose curve, you keep your energy steady, which means you have fuel left in the tank for intimacy later in the day. Now, a very important rule: never, ever take it pure. Do not drink it straight from the spoon. It is highly acidic. Besides irritating your stomach lining, it can cause severe reflux and even strip the enamel right off your teeth. Always dilute it in a large glass of water. It needs to be simple, discreet, and safe. And please, do not exaggerate. More quantity does not mean more potency. I have seen men think that if 1 spoon is good, a whole cup must be better. That is wrong. That is dangerous. What works is consistency, not dosage. 1 tablespoon per day is enough to do the job. It fulfills its role better than you imagine without stressing your system. A question I hear constantly is, how long does it take to see a difference in the bedroom? The male body gives signs very quickly when it reacts to something that improves circulation and hormones. For some men, 3 to 5 days are enough to notice mornings are more active. You might wake up with an erection for the first time in years. You might notice your erections during intimacy are firmer. You might just feel a different kind of hum or vibration of energy during the day. For others, it might take 1 or 2 weeks to get everything back on the rails. The key is not to skip days. Do not abandon the protocol halfway through. And, of course, do not mix this healthy habit with junk food that sabotages your testosterone. You cannot supplement a bad diet. There is also a strategy for the evening. It might seem curious, but taking a dose before bed helps some men achieve even better results, specifically those fighting this spare tire around the waist. Why does this matter for sex? Because excess visceral fat, that hard belly fat, is a testosterone killer. It acts like a separate organ that converts your testosterone into estrogen. It also physically compresses internal blood flow. Taking a light dose at night helps lower fasting blood sugar levels the next morning. It tells your body to burn fat rather than store it. It prevents those nighttime spikes and crashes. It is as if you are preparing your organism to wake up more active, more alert, and more sexually reactive. The secret is finding the schedule that matches your body, testing it for a few days, and observing how your energy shifts. And do not be fooled. When circulation improves, a man feels it in his skin. When hormones start to balance, the body responds. When blood sugar drops, desire rises. It is all connected. This is why I say apple cider vinegar isn't just a healthy habit. It is a silent ally. When used correctly, it improves not just your performance in bed, but your entire health profile. And the more constant you are, the more gratitude your body shows in your energy, your potency, and your confidence. Now that you know how to take it, I need to show you what is actually happening inside your body when this acidic liquid starts to circulate. Because this is where many men get surprised. They think vinegar is just for digestion. They are wrong. It messes with deep parts of your metabolism. The first major change is in the hydraulics, the way your blood circulates. Apple cider vinegar helps reduce blood viscosity. In simple terms, it helps thin the blood slightly, making it less sludge-like. When blood flows with less resistance through your veins and arteries, you feel it where it matters. Erections become faster to achieve. They become firmer. They become more resistant to fading. It is as if your veins are responding better to the stimulus, opening with more force and filling the chambers completely. No man forgets this difference because it shows up even when you aren't trying to impress anyone. The second change is hormonal. Men after 40 start to suffer discrete but constant drops in testosterone. Some don't even notice it at first, but they feel the drag, less strength, lower libido, lower confidence. Apple cider vinegar helps control insulin resistance and reduces silent inflammation. These are two of the biggest enemies of testosterone production. When you control insulin, you stop the body from being in a constant state of storage and stress. When the body isn't fighting inflammation, it can focus on producing hormones. When this stabilizes, the male body reacts as if it has been rebooted. Mood improves. Energy returns. And that libido that seemed extinguished reignites with force. Another vital change happens in the liver. Your liver is the filter and the engine of your energy. A fatty, overloaded liver makes a man slow, tired, and leads to weak erections. Apple cider vinegar is fantastic for liver health. It helps mobilize fat and process toxins. It takes the weight off the system. When your liver functions better, your entire body feels lighter. This lightness translates directly to sexual appetite. Desire arises naturally, without effort. Digestion changes too. You absorb vitamins and minerals better, nutrients that feed your circulation and hormones. Men who lived with constant bloating, gas, and a high belly start to notice the abdomen deflating. The body functions with fluidity. It is impressive how sexual health improves when the stomach stops being a problem. Perhaps the strongest point is the impact on blood sugar. When you control glucose, you protect your arteries. When you protect your arteries, you protect your erections. It is a direct line. Men who live with blood sugar spikes and crashes are the ones who complain most about fatigue, impotence, and lack of drive. Vinegar acts as a brake on these spikes. It provides stability. A stable body responds with power. And there is the mental aspect. When you feel this set of physical changes, your mind changes. You feel more capable. You feel more in control. You feel confident in your own body again. And every man knows that confidence is 50% of performance. That is why I always say, when you take care of your circulation, your liver, your digestion, and your hormones, your sex life automatically transforms. Apple cider vinegar helps in all these areas simultaneously. It is discreet, cheap, easy, and efficient. I see this every day. Men arrive insecure, worried, thinking their problem is permanent. And little by little, they see the body wake up again. All starting with a simple habit. A small movement that changes how the organism works from the inside out. Do not underestimate the power of 1 spoon a day. It seems like little, but the effect inside the male body is profound. However, I need to speak about something many avoid, but I must explain. Apple cider vinegar does not work for everyone. And it's not because it's weak, it's because some men use it wrong. The most common error is impatience leading to overdose. I have seen men taking 3, 4 spoons pure, burning their throat, irritating their stomach, and then complaining it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. The body works with balance. Vinegar is potent. It needs respect. If you force your organism, it defends itself by inflaming. Another issue is timing. If you have gastritis, ulcers, or severe reflux, do not take it fasting. It will set your chest on fire and ruin your day. If you have a sensitive stomach, take it after a meal. You still get the benefits without the pain. Adapting the protocol to your body is smart. Forcing a protocol that hurts you is stupid. There is also the risk of poor quality. Do not buy the cheapest, clear vinegar on the bottom shelf. That is basically flavored acetic acid. It has almost no therapeutic effect. You need the real stuff. Look for organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar that contains the mother. That cloudy sediment at the bottom of the bottle, that is where the enzymes, proteins, and beneficial bacteria live. That is the medicine. The clear stuff is just for cleaning windows. And we must talk about diet. You cannot use vinegar as an eraser for a bad lifestyle. If you are eating inflammatory foods, drinking excessive alcohol, and staying sedentary, 1 spoon of vinegar won't save you. It is an ally, not a savior. Finally, a note on medication. If you are on medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart issues, you must speak to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Because vinegar works, it lowers sugar, it affects pressure. If you combine that with strong medication without monitoring, your numbers could drop too low. It is safe, but it must be managed. I tell you all of this because I understand how men operate. You try to solve everything alone in silence. You hide the fear of failure, the drop in potency, the loss of desire. But your body doesn't lie. When you give your body what it needs to function, when you clear the blood, detox the liver, and balance the hormones, the response is undeniable. Your posture changes. Your voice changes. Your partner notices. So, here is the bottom line. Don't underestimate what you do every day. The vinegar is just the start. It is the entry point to a body that is more active, lighter, stronger, and more alive. But the real transformation happens when you decide to treat your body with the respect it deserves. Start with a spoon. Fix the system. And watch the strength come back.